It was a rainy, foggy day on Sodor. The engines were having issues, seen due to the thick layer of fog covering the island, and the rain had made the rails slippery. Henry was taking a goods train to Vickerstown. The big green engine had to go over Gordon's Hill. He struggled trying to get his train over the hill, so Henry had to slowly and safely back the train down the hill. His driver started to climb out of the cab to let Sigmund know that they needed a banker. Henry and his crew then heard an unknown whistle in the distance behind them, making the big green engine confused, but he was happy he had a banker. Henry didn't think too much about it. The unknown engine whistled. That it's ready. Henry whistled, whatever his whistle was. The two engines were able to get the train over the top of the hill, and the unknown engine whistled, telling Henry that it started to back off, and Henry whistled thank you in return. Over the next couple of days, Henry once again had trouble with his trains. He also once again heard the same unknown whistle. One morning, Henry was with Gordon and James at the coaling tower, and he had told them about his experiences with his whistle. Please, Henry, mysterious whistles. I'm telling the truth, Gordon. It's what I've been hearing these past couple of nights. Oh, please, Henry, if this whistle was real, then Sir Topham would have told us that there was a new engine by now, don't you think? I think you've just been hearing things. He's probably been encountering a ghost, Gordon. Honestly, James, there's no such things as ghosts. Who knows? There could be scary ghosts that travel down the line, looking for engines to take to the scrapyard. And when they find an engine, the ghosts whistle to each other. Ooh. What can I do to make you both believe me? Well, first, you can actually show me this unknown engine of yours. And second, you can stop hogging the coal tower. Other engines, and more specifically me, need to use it. Henry gave up trying to give it to Gordon and left to take his turn at the morning express. The big green engine was lost in his thoughts. As he backed down to the coaches, a little hard. Oh, careful, Henry! Sorry, Stanley. Good morning, Henry. Oh, sorry. Good morning, sir. Is something the matter? Yes, over these past couple of days, I've been hearing this mysterious whistle at night. Then, when I'm struggling with my train, I get help from the engine, and this whistle belongs to. Is there any new engine that's arrived on Sodo, sir? No, Henry. There hasn't. Oh. Honestly, you've probably been hearing things, Henry. You're right, sir. Well, you better be off by now. Henry spent the rest of the day thinking about the mysterious whistle and what both Gordon and Sir Topham had said about it. During the morning and afternoon, word about Henry's encounter with the whistle spread, and other engines teased him about it, and joined with James in calling it a ghost. Did I really hear things? Henry thought to himself as later that day he was taking diesel fuel to the diesel works. Henry stopped at Marin. Hear the same whistle again. However, it was a lot fainter this time due to the thunderstorm that had rolled in, which made it a little hard to hear. Also, the thick fog returned around lunchtime, and he could have sworn he saw the green tank engine approaching on the other track. The fog made it very hard to see this engine. Soon the signal dropped. Clunk! And Henry made his way to Vickerstown. He passed the unknown green tank engine. Henry didn't get a good look at the engine, but he assumed it was duck, since the shape of this engine appeared to be similar. Henry was able to drop his train off Vicarstown, and on his way back, the rain stopped. He was thinking more and more about this entire situation. He had to stop at the Cosby coal yard on his way back to pick up coal for the coal towers at Knackford and Timoth. Henry was halfway back to Marin when What happened? You burst the safety valve, said his driver. The guard walked up to the cab. What's going on, lads? Ernest burst the safety valve, Michael. All right then, Ronald. Go and tell the signalman what's happened. Abby, let's go put the fog detonators on the track. The driver went to go tell the signalman what happened, and the firewoman and guard put fog detonators on the track, leaving Henry in silence. He sat by himself for a couple of minutes alone with his thoughts. He heard puffing coming from another engine. He looked left, he looked right, and then on the other track, coming into view, he saw the shape of a green tank engine, which was the same shape from the one earlier in the day. When the engine fully came into view, Henry saw that it was the J50 tank engine that had a dark green livery with white stripes, black lining, and the number 669 on its side. Hello? Hello? Who are you? My name's Michelle. What's yours? My name's Henry. Nice to meet you, Henry. How long have you been on Sodor? Oh, I've just been here for this week. Oh, well, welcome to Sodor then. The other engine said I was just hearing things this entire time, and that you were a ghost. Michelle just smiled and went to go get turned around to help Henry. All right, the signalman phoned Sir Robert Normanby, whose estate is closest to help, and Robert has sent an engine, said the driver. I just talked to the engine. Strange. How did I not see that? Oh, all right, the fog detonators are set, said the firewoman, walking back up to the cab with the guard. The crew and the engine and Henry heard a detonator go off. Then another. Then a third. And lastly, a fourth. The crew, hearing the whistle, returned to the cabin brake van. Michelle was coupled up and she was pushed. And she pushed Henry to Knapford. She shunted his trucks into the sidings and then took him on to the steamworks. Michelle was very quiet as she pushed Henry into the steamworks, as it was late and the tank engine didn't want to wake up anyone. Thank you, Henry whispered. You're welcome, Michelle whispered back. Next morning, Sir Tom Howe was scheduling the trains in his office when he got interrupted by his telephone. Bother this telephone. Yes. Hello. Henry had a burst safety valve. What? You said a green tank engine helped him? The engine had the number 669. I see. I'll be there right away. Sir Domhat got out of his chair. He pulled a book from his desk drawer, and he left the office for the steamworks. At the steamworks, Henry was resting. He was woken up by the sound of a horn. It was Sir Domhat's car. Good morning, Henry. Good morning, sir. The Steamworks manager told me about your accident last night and the engine you talked to. Yes, sir, I was surprised, sir. Well, I do know the engine you met last night, Henry. What? You do, sir? Yes, Henry. Sir Dom had opened up his book in his hand, and he turned to an old picture of Michelle and her crew. You're sure, before I became controller, I was just a fireman for the mainland, and Michelle was the engine I was the fireman for. After my father started building the railway here on Sodor, I left and became a member of the railway board. Why didn't you bring Michelle to Sodor with you, sir? Sir John had closed the book. It was a cold, rainy, foggy night, just like the ones we've been having. We had finished shunting for the night at King's Cross. We were ready to call it a night. I'm so glad when this is over we can turn in for the night. I agree with you, Gerald. Well, at least you two have my firebox to keep you both warm, and well, I have to be hit by the rain. Their laughter was interrupted by the station master. The gas train has stalled. Please go and help. The fog was thick. It was hard for us to see. Look out! We ran over the fog detonator. And as soon as that happened, Gerald saw how close we were to the goods train. Michelle tried to brake. Gerald grabbed me by the shoulder, and we jumped out of the cab. Thankfully, the guard of the goods train heard and jumped out as well. I didn't turn around. The next morning, Michelle was being loaded up onto a flatbed. The crash had cracked her funnel, broke both of her front buffers, dented her side tanks, broke two of her wheels, and damaged her side roads. I was very worried. I'm so sorry, Topham. It wasn't your fault. The fog and the rain were the cause of the accident. Michelle didn't respond. She just stayed quiet. And I had to watch her leave on that flatbed. I was told later on that she was taken to a scrapyard. Henry was about to say something until he saw the engine in question. Sir Topman jumped. He turned around. When the controller saw, his face lit up. Hello, fireman. How are you here? I'm the answer to that question, my friend. It was Sir Robert climbing down from Michelle's cab. Robert? Yes, you see, Topham, on my last visit to the mainland, I went looking for another engine for my estate. My search led me to a scrapyard, where I saw many engines. And then I saw Michelle. I asked her about the damage that she had, and But after she told me her story, I knew I had to rescue her. Thank you, Robert. You're welcome. The both of you. Welcome home, Michelle. Thank you, fireman. Later that day, Henry had gotten his new safety valve fitted, and he was out taking on water at Knapford before his next train. Michelle had arrived in the sidings. She pulled alongside the big green engine. She was sporting a new orange livery with the number 20 on her sides. Hi, Henry. New paint, I see. What do you think? Not bad for a ghost. The two engines chuckled before Henry had to take his next goods train. And the rest of the day, there wasn't a cloud in the sky.